We'll see if the Ravens can clean up the mess they created last night when they play the Bears in 9 days. Let's get some love to the Miami Dolphins. And you mentioned Tua Tagovailoa, Peter. Look, what a weird week it's been for him. He's healthy enough to be the backup. He's healthy enough to be the only other option behind Jacoby Brissett, but he's not healthy enough to play. And then Jacoby Brissett goes from looking like he has a torn ACL to he's ready to get back in the game. Coach Florio says, no. Now we got two quarterbacks who are injured, but not so injured they can't play. Well, let's go with the other guy and see what he can do. And Tua, relative to where our standards have fallen for him, was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I applaud Tua Tagovailoa for in this game is that, look, he didn't have much of a chance because this Baltimore rush is just as good. But he worked the edges of the Ravens defense, and he made enough plays to move the ball. And, you know, again, I still am concerned about Tua's ability to, A, stay healthy, B, be consistent, especially with deep balls. And, of course, that's an excellent throw right there. But last night was a very good sign for Tua Tagovailoa. And, you know, look, I'm surprised just like everybody else is. I didn't think he was going to play at all. And I think Jacoby Brissett is probably pretty surprised, too. He wanted the rest of that game.
Oh, he absolutely did. And it'll be amazing if down the stretch the Dolphins do enough with Tua, win enough, that Stephen Ross at the end of the year decides to make no major changes. Let's just try it all over again next year. Let's not forget they started 1-6. There's a reason they were 1-6, and they credit to them. They beat the Texans. Who hasn't? I didn't put a whole lot of stock in that. This was impressive last night. I mean, hey, I said it yesterday. Hey, the Dolphins got their win for the month. I was as stunned by this outcome as I've been by any outcome this year because I don't expect the Ravens to have a night like that. I don't expect them to get complacent. I don't expect them to be tired because they played deep into overtime 4 days earlier, because we've seen them play deep into overtime against the Raiders and turn around and beat the Chiefs the following Sunday night. I didn't expect any of this. So credit to the Dolphins. But when you have a night like this, it reminds me of what happened with the Jaguars on Sunday from their perspective. It's the kid who brings home straight A's for the first time. The parents say, why the hell haven't you done this before? And you are expected to do it now every quarter. The Dolphins are expected to do it now every week. And if they don't build on this, it's an aberration. That's really the question going forward. Is this the start of some new trend in Miami, or is this just a fluke that we're not going to see repeated? And it's up to them at this point.
Here's the thing that NFL teams do, Mike, and that is that they essentially figure out what it is that is your Achilles heel, okay? And they essentially figure out what you do great, and then they try to neutralize it. Well, there is no question right now that every team that plays Miami is going to be ready. I will bet you a lot that most teams the rest of the way have their best blocking tight end, whether even if they have to activate him from the practice squad for the game, will have that tight end up and ready to go against Miami, in essence, to have a sixth offensive lineman to play consistently against Miami for the rest of the year. Because, look, I'm not saying Miami will do that. They may run 3 safety blitzes instead of 38 in the next couple of weeks. But they now have shown that when they are desperate and they are throwing out all the stops, they're going to blitz 38 times. I mean, you know, and mostly you say, my God, that is not sustaining, is it? Probably not, but I'm sure we're going to find out.
Well, and it's desperation, quite possibly, that if Brian Flores didn't win that game last night and they go back into the tailspin that they were in, he may not survive it. And Sims kind of made that point yesterday. He saw this, and I think he picked the Dolphins not to win, but to cover, just because Flores knows that he's running out of chances, and this is a great opportunity for him to give Stephen Ross something to think about moving forward. Maybe you don't end this experiment after only 3 years, because maybe some of that time with Bill Belichick is starting to bubble up and there's hope for the future. Let's hear from both Tua and Brian Flores on the win and on Tua coming off the bench and looking as good as he ever has.
It means a lot. We beat a really, really good team. This is a tough team to beat. But the guys are happy. They're sore, but at the end of a win, nothing really hurts. So it feels good.
Definitely some good plays. Obviously, the throw to Albert there at the end, hit Jalen on a big play. So I thought he did a lot of good things. Some throws I wish he probably wishes he had back, but overall, it helped us win the game.
Yes, he did, and they got it done. But
don't be too excited, Coach.
Yeah, well,
I mean, come on, you just have an incredible win, and he looks like his dog just died.
14 years of Bill Belichick, it'll do it to you. It will suck the soul right out of your body. I think that's probably that. Sorry, Bill, but that's how he acts. You see that all the time, and you think that's what good coaches do. And that's what Brian Flores does. On Tua,
hey, Mike, can I?
I don't know how.
Can I just
go ahead? Let me just say this. Let me say this real quick. I don't know how Tua is going to survive physically. I saw him there in those pads.
Right.
He's got to add more armor to his body. He's not big enough to survive in the NFL. He looked like a kid in his Halloween costume. He's not going to survive in the NFL over the long term with that build. He's not going to. Russell Wilson's about the same height. Russell Wilson has a physique that screams out, I can take these hits, I can survive. Tua's got to do something. He's got to spend some time in the gym after this season ends. He's got to come back looking like a badass because he's not going to survive with that physique.
Mike, there's no team built to resuscitate an awful 2 months of his first 2 months of the season better than the Miami Dolphins. And look, you can look at the Dolphins and say, boy, when we see them on the schedule, we're happy. But look at Miami's schedule in the next month. They are at the Jets next week. And then after that, 3 straight weeks at home. Carolina, the Giants, and the Jets. So, look, there's no excuses for Miami. None. If they want to save their season, which seems impossible, but if they want to save their season, I could see them saving it over the schedule, with the schedule over the next month that is as advantageous as any team in the NFL has.
And think about this, Peter. And I don't know if this is an advantage or a disadvantage. I would regard it as an advantage at this point. After they play the Jets on Sunday, after they get a mini bye, they play the Jets the Sunday before Thanksgiving. They are home from the Monday of Thanksgiving week until the day after Christmas. They are home for the holidays, literally. They don't travel anywhere. They've got those 3 home games and a bye in between. They are not on the road again until Monday night, December 27, against the New Orleans Saints. And it's a way to kind of settle in, take care of business 1 week at a time. And they're 3-6. Okay, let's say they win these next 4 games. 7-6 has you very much alive going into the final stretch. Now, what you do against the Saints, Titans, and Patriots is a different issue altogether. But if they can win these next 4, who knows? Who knows? I don't think crazier things have happened.
I don't think they're good enough to do that. But the fact is that it's possible that they could do it. And, it's possible that they're sitting there. I mean, in an absolute total ideal world, they head into a deadly stretch at the end of their season, which is New Orleans, Tennessee, and New England. They could end up very close to 500, a game, below 500. And so, look, that's what we're saying about everybody in the NFL having a chance.
I misspoke. These damn bye weeks screw me up every year, and they're screwing me up more this year than ever. They're 3-7. They've played 10. They haven't had their bye yet. So they win the next 4. They get to 7-7. Even then, with all these other teams clustered with 4 losses or fewer, but they're all around 3 or 4 losses, right? They run these next 4 They take care of the Jets in New York. They come home for a month. They win 3 in a row at home. When they go to the Saints on December 27 to cap Christmas weekend, there's a chance they're going to be 7-7 going into the last 3 games.
Yes.
And that's a hell of a lot more than we could have hoped for when they won their first game against the Patriots and lost 7 in a row.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.